Hey everyone, welcome back to your research buddy, where we dive deep into the world of science. Today we are exploring something fascinating, that is solids and how their crystal structures form. So you will get to understand types of solids, unit cell, lattices, and even the types of lattices that defined in the material science and around the crystallography, right? So let's get into it. So here the first topic is solid. Okay. So generally we will start with the types of matter. Generally we have three types of matter: solid, liquid and gases. Fourth one is plasmonic state, but which is not able to present in normal conditions. So generally we will take three types of matter: solids, liquid and gases, right? In this particular unit we will take only solids. So again, solids are categorized into two categories. One is crystalline solids and second one is amorphous. Okay, so second one is amorphous. Amorphous solids, right? So in case of crystalline solids are those solids in which atoms, ions or molecule, which is the constituents of matter, are arranged in regular or defined three-dimensional pattern. This is very important point about crystalline solids. Crystalline solids are those solids in which atoms, ions or molecules are arranged in a regular or defined three-dimensional pattern. For example, we have a sodium chloride or diamond is the example of crystalline solids, where in case of amorphous solids there is no such regularity in the arrangement of atoms we have found. That's why these type of solids are called amorphous solids, right? For example, we have plastic and glasses. So next topic we are having is formation of crystal structure. Formation of crystal structure. So how a crystal structure is formed? So usually there are two things that we are having. One is space, that is in combination with bases, so will give us crystal structure. Okay, what a space lattice is? So space lattice, we can define space lattice. Space lattice is an array of imaginary points in three-dimensional space in which each possesses identical surrounding with respect to all other points. It means it is an array of imaginary points, three-dimensional space. It is a array of imaginary points in three-dimensional space which possesses identical surroundings. For example, if I am taking this point, there is another point, there is another point, and there is point as well. We have this point, another point, and another point. So each and every point right now having identical surrounding in three dimensions along all the axes, along the three dimensions. Okay. So this type of array is called space lattice. So this is an example of space lattice. And what about this basis? So in case of space lattice, we have studied about the space lattice that is only an infinite array of points. Okay, so we have an infinite array of points along all the directions, along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. This is an infinite array of planes. All right. But in case of basis, in order to obtain a crystal structure, each lattice point must be supplemented with an atom or group of atoms, and this atom or group of atoms is called basis. Now in case of space lattice, what we have assumed, we have imaginary points in the space and these points having identical surrounding. But right now, for the formation of matter, what we need? We need atoms. What we need is atoms, ions, or molecules. Right? Okay. So basis is atoms, ions, or molecule. Now, as we have here lattice points. Now, if we supplement each lattice point with an atom, let's say this is my atom, and I am supplementing atom here at this point. And each and every lattice point is supplemented with an atom. So right now there is a formation of crystal structure, because a crystal structure is only formed when we have atoms or ions or molecule. Okay, and space lattice is just an imaginary points in the space, right? So with the combination of space lattice and basis, there's a formation of crystal structure, right? So next important property we are having is unit cell. Okay, so what is a unit cell? So unit cell may be defined as a smallest geometrical figure, which repeats itself and form a crystal structure. Unit cell is a very important property. We can take an example of this one as we are having a crystal structure, and this is a regular there is a regular arrangement of atoms in this crystal structure. Okay, so to understand unit cell is a smallest geometrical figure. So how to make a smallest geometrical figure from this unit cell? We have a unit cell. How to make a smallest geometrical figure? I'm going to combine these two atoms, because there is no atom in between these two atoms, right? I'm also going to combine these two atoms, these two and these two as well. There is a formation of a smallest geometrical figure. Why we are calling this geometrical figure? Because this unit cell must having some dimensions. Okay, so this is the smallest geometrical figure right now for this particular unit cell. Okay, I'm combining these four atoms as well. So there is a formation of another unit cell, and by combining these four atoms, there is formation of another unit cell. It means in case of crystalline material, we have n number of unit cell. Okay, and if we are talking about crystalline materials, then this unit cell remain same. The dimensions of first unit cell is exactly same with second unit cell, third unit cell, fourth unit cell, fifth unit cell, sixth unit cell, up to nth number of unit cell. The dimensions will be remain same. It means the unit cell can be, that's why we are defining unit cell is a smallest geometrical figure which repeats itself. Okay, why we are using a word a repetition, a repeat? Because the dimension of unit cell 1 is exactly same with the dimensions of unit cell 2. That's why we are calling this a geometrical figure which repeats itself in the space in 3 dimensions to produce a crystal. Okay, also by knowing the properties of this unit cell, we can figure out the property of whole crystalline material. Likewise, I am having this crystalline material, and if we need to find out properties of this crystalline material, what we need to study is the properties of unit cell only. Once we are able to know the properties of unit cell, we can figure out the properties of this whole crystalline material. Okay, so this is a very important property, and this unit cell is defined as a smallest geometrical figure which repeats itself in space and also in 3 dimensions to produce a crystal. Okay, so another type of unit cell is primitive unit cell. So it is a type of unit cell which contains lattice points at the corners only. Okay, so we have atoms at the corners only in this particular type of unit cell and has a minimum volume. So let's say I'm taking an example of cubic crystal system, cubic unit cell. Okay, so here at each and every corner is supplemented with an atom, and this is called the primitive cell, a unit cell, in which we have atoms present at the corners only, right? Next important property is lattice parameters. Okay, so this is very important, and the form and actual size of unit cell can be known if the distance between the 2 neighboring atoms or lattice points along the 3 directions and the angle between them is known. Okay, it means we know as we have talked about in case of unit cell, that unit cell is in repetitive form throughout the crystal structure, and what we need to find out is the property of unit cell to find out properties of whole crystalline material, right? It means what we need to figure out is the properties of unit cell. But how we can find out properties of unit cells? So there is a concept of lattice parameters. Here we are not going to use depth, breadth and height, because we are dealing in atomic level. So a part of these 3 dimensions, what we are going to use are lattice parameters, which are represented by A, B, C. Okay, A, B and C. And the angle between them along the 3 axes, likewise in case of this cubic crystal system, then angle between x-axis and y-axis is represented by alpha. X-axis, y-axis and z-axis, the angle is beta, and z and x-axis is gamma. Okay, so these are the 3 angles, alpha, beta and gamma, right? And lattice parameter A, B, C. So if we am taking this origin, so from this origin along x-axis, what is the position of your atom? Let's say the position is here of your atom. Then I can say that along x-axis, lattice parameter is A. It means this is A centimeter or A angstrom, because centimeter is a very big unit to mention any atom. So right now for atomic scale, what we use to denote is nanometer or angstrom generally. So it means from origin to nearest neighboring atom towards x-axis, the distance is A angstrom, right? Along y-axis, the distance from origin to nearest neighboring atom along y-axis is B angstrom, let's say B. And towards z-axis, the nearest neighboring atom from origin is represented by C. It means this is generally representing the distance between 2 neighboring atoms along the respective direction. So that's why these 2 important properties are very, very important. For example, we can take O and OX. So along OX is represented by A, OY, B, OZ, C. And the angle between them is represented by XOY is alpha, YOZ beta, ZOX is gamma. So by knowing these 2 properties, we can find out the properties of unit cell, isn't it? Right? So that's why lattice parameters are very important. And next property is Bravais lattice, right? Next property is Bravais lattice. So as we know that there are number of ways to arrange points in lattice, but the points in the lattice should have identical surrounding, as we have discussed earlier, and must obey symmetry operation. So there is another word we are adding here is symmetry operations. This is a different topic. We will cover it later. Symmetry operation. What generally symmetry operations is when you apply symmetry operations, if your atom or if your crystal is looking exactly same after applying these symmetry operations, then we can say that this is our system is symmetric. So we will cover it later. But right now, if any system obeys 2 things, one is identical surroundings, second, which is obeying symmetry operations as well, then the lattice obeys such conditions are called Bravais lattices. Okay, so Bravais lattices are those lattices which obey the identical surroundings as well as symmetry operation. Okay, so on the basis of such conditions, there are 7 types of crystal systems and 14 types of Bravais lattices in 3 dimensions. Okay, so on the basis of arrangement of lattice points, there are 7 types of crystal system and 14 types of Bravais lattice. So let's see how we can figure out 7 types of crystal systems. So there is a pattern C, T, O, M, HRT, R, T. C means cubic crystal system. T means tetragonal system. O stands for orthorhombic. M for monoclinic. Hexagonal. Rhomboidal. And triclinic. Okay, so these are the 7 types of crystal systems we are having. Serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, and what is the relation between their primitives? So primitives are represented by A, B and C, that is lattice parameters, interfacial angles alpha, beta and gamma. So in case of cubic crystal systems, A is equals to B is equals to C, and alpha is equals to beta is equals to gamma, and this is also equals to 90 degree. Okay, now for first three systems, alpha, beta, gamma and 90 degree, this is way to remember this table. All these three interfacial angles are equal for first three type of systems, crystal systems. And in case of lattice parameters, for cubic crystal system, all the lattice parameters are equal, but in case and you just need to take one not equal, so we are taking C not equal, and for the third case all of them are not equal, right? Now repeat the process in reverse manner. So how we can repeat the process in inverse manner? We have started with all equal, so for the fourth one you have to start for all not equal. Now make one equal and make all of them equal, right? And again repeat the process, that is not equal. Okay, and in case of fourth one, alpha is equals to gamma is equals to 90 degrees, beta is not equals to 98. And in case of hexagonal, alpha is equals to beta is equals to 90 degree, gamma is equals to 120 degree. And the next one, all these lattice interfacial angles are equal, but they are not equal to 90 degree. And interfacial angles are not equal, and they are not even equals to 90 degree. Okay, and number of lattices. So in case of cubic crystal system, we have three types of lattices, which are generally named as simple cubic crystal system, body centered and face centered. Tetragonal we have two, and for orthorhombic we have four types, and then we have two types for orthorhombic, and one for all these types of crystal systems. It means this is equals to 14. So we have 14 types of lattices and 7 types of crystal system, okay, in crystallography. So that's all for this particular lecture. And if you found this lecture helpful, you can comment below. You can like, share and subscribe my channel as well. And you have another suggestions, and you want us to cover any specific topic, we will do it for you. Thank you so much for watching this video.